Hello, this is Pat McDaniel with Second Mile Marketing, and I have a really fascinating uh, test here. This is from our friends over at witchtest1.com, and this is the child care, or they call themselves the learning centers, called KinderCare, which you've probably seen in your neighborhoods. And they put together a landing page for the strict purpose and intent of attracting leads. And from there, they could possibly close a particular percentage of those. And so they wanted to do a test on this particular landing page and what elements they wanted to change that would possibly bump up the response rate. And the testing was led by Eyesight Design. And what they used was a multivariate test. Now, multivariate test is a little different than an A/B test. And what an A/B test is pretty straightforward, where you have two pages that are totally identical with the exception of one element. So here's the two different landing pages that they're testing. And I'm going to toggle back and forth. And as you can see, the only thing that changes is this little section right here. This is considered a multivariate test because they're actually testing two different elements at the same time, which in comparison to an A/B split test where you're actually comparing one item straight against another item. You know, you're going to try one button color versus a different button color, or one headline versus a different headline. Okay, and that's typically a better way to go for a lot of website testing, primarily because there's just not enough traffic for many websites to test a bunch of things at the same time. The other dimension with multivariate testing is that you have to use uh, very sophisticated algorithmic formulas that they call the Taguchi method to be able to quantify which parts and elements are contributing to the differences. So, you know, you can show your landing page enough times and enough variations to where the computer can figure out that the response rate for all the different variations works out to a certain number for each of those different variations. You never, ever, ever want to test multiple elements on a page at the same time unless you have it set up as a multivariate test and you have those formulas in play. Otherwise, you're just going to get a muddled mess of results, and almost invariably, you're going to have the wrong conclusions. So what they did was they used the multivariate test setup because they had enough traffic, and KinderCare probably does. Okay, and what the testing will show uh, companies like, in this case, Eyesight Design, or in the case of our company, Second Mile Marketing, is it will help you know which elements are working and which elements are not, and also, you know, by what percentage, what percentage this element was contributing to its overall improvement or decline versus the next element. Okay. But what it doesn't tell you is why it works. And that's where you have to use a little bit of your experience and a little bit of your research to come up with plausible explanations. And then you would go back and test those to make sure that those are correct. All right, so here are the two elements that they tested. The first thing that they tested was the background image. So you see here, you have birds in this one, and you have a bee and a sun in this one, okay? And then the second element are the words here. One says find a center near you, and the other one says search for a center, okay? Now, here is what we have discerned based on um, a little bit of experience and input and research, okay? The thing that had the greatest impact to improve the response rate of this landing page by 68%, the largest was the design with the birds, okay? And it is conjectured, and I believe it's correct, that because the particular site has so many colors and so much vibrancy, this new section here really almost pushes it over the edge on that, as opposed to this, which just has a simpler look and it's cleaner and it's easier to read. Okay, so that had a significant impact. As a general rule, simple is better. Subdued and clean is better than noisy or busy. The second element that contributed to it was the wording. Now, this is something where I think you're going to start to realize that getting a website to work well is very nuanced. Okay, here it says find a center near you. This one says search for a center. It is surmised that people don't want to search for a center; they want to find a center. That's the end result. And then it says near you. And the connotation is, oh, there's a center, there's a place near me, as opposed to search for a center somewhere in the United States. Okay? There is a couple of other little things. One says enter your address, and this one says enter city or zip, which sounds easier to do. So here's the point, okay? Where your website starts in its performance, its response rate is rarely the best it can do. There is just enormous importance on ongoing testing, and even experts, the best experts, um, they build tests based on what they've done previously, what they've learned elsewhere, where they've learned what they've learned in research, and best practices. But even then, you know, if you don't test, they're as likely to not get it right as they are to get it right. And we at Second Mile Marketing are really no different. We've had pages that we've set up based on our experience with many landing pages and best practices for what to put above the fold and eye tracking flow and all that kind of stuff. And yet, you know what? We've we've uh, we've done a swing and a miss, and we've had to go continue to work on the testing to get the right results. Um, the key here is this: ongoing testing with each iteration of the landing page that you test can easily turn a single into a double or a triple or even a home run. And it's all about testing, and it's all about patience, and it's all about commitment to improving your website. And guess what? KinderCare here got 70%. They almost doubled the amount of leads they got from their testing. It's definitely worth it. This is Pat McDaniel from Second Mile Marketing. Hope you enjoyed it.